So as far as managing payroll, you want to make sure that I think the biggest thing when you're working remote is when you don't have the hustle and bustle of the office, you could kind of get lost in not sticking to your task. So if you kind of task out your team with different duties, ensure that they're clocking in and clocking out on those required break times for your hourly people, that can kind of help keep the payroll streamlined and make sure there's not any instances of them not being available or being gone for long periods of time. Depending on what type of environment you're in, sometimes they have like, you can't be, like your mouse can't move, or you can't be stagnant for too long, because then there's tells that will tell that. So a lot of times, depending on if you're having issues with employees not being available, you can kind of set weekly meetings and weekly goals. As far as payroll, I think for remote employees, it's better to be done on a daily basis. Have those managers checking their in punches, their lunch punches, and their out punches. That way, if there's any question of their availability or things that they're missing or not clocking in, you hit it the next day. So kind of stop that in its place. If you have an employee that's working remote, and you're finding it hard to track them down, or maybe they have a lot of missed punches, it's easier to kind of navigate those things at the beginning and kind of nip it before it becomes a long outstanding issue, because it's harder to manage employees. It's much harder to manage employees because you don't know what they're doing. If you set weekly meetings and goals for them to hit and they're not hitting those goals, that may tell you that they need help on managing the time. A lot of it for me is missed punches and missed lunches. There should be no reason why you're missing your punch or your lunch if you're at home. And that's pretty much how I manage my team. Just set weekly meetings and weekly goals, or employees not being available, just snip it as soon as possible.